sinasabi ni Attorney Cotorion, yung indictment mismo na sinasabi nyo, kung may crime ba na nangyari, nandun pa lang tayo sa step na yon. Na there is no, yung sinasabi nyo na merong krimen na nangyari, ang sinasabi namin, walang krimen na nangyari. So we haven't even established if there is really a crime that happened. Prior to that, I would just like to to emphasize yung, kasi ako I really appreciate yung explanation ni Attorney Torion doon especially when calling someone a fugitive of justice. Kasi yun yung laging sinasabi ng mga galit kay Kibuloy, na si Kibuloy ay pugante na. Okay? And I think itong mga journalist na to, I mean, if you want to make to put Attorney Torion in a tight situation, kasi ganito yan kayong mga mainstream media practitioner, alam naman namin may mga biases kayo, okay? Huwag kayong magplastikan dito. Now, if you want to, let's say, I want to put Attorney Torion in a tight situation para mahirapan siya magsasagot, you could have at least prepared and asked intelligent questions. The problem with these three idiots, hindi naman kayo makasabay doon sa explanation ni Attorney Torion. And you throw questions, and when he was explaining, I don't know if you get it, you resort into making him feel like an idiot explaining.
By laughing.
Tawa kayo ng tawa dyan. Yung ina-explain ni Attorney Torion is actually very important. You know, guys, this is something that all of you should remember because this will protect your rights. And that is what explanation of Attorney Torion is very, very important. Okay, when do you become a fugitive of law? Okay? Nasabi ito ni Attorney Torion, okay? You cannot say, technically, legally, Kibuloy is not a fugitive. Okay? Why? Okay? Kasi sinasabi dyan, hindi kasi ine-evade niya yung warrant of arrest Ine-evade niya yung warrant of arrest, so fugitive of justice na siya. What Attorney Torion is saying, that his client is unavailable. Okay? He cannot be considered as a fugitive of law. Why? Because meron siyang remedies pending before the court. His presence is acknowledged by the court at this moment. In-interview ni
Ipalabas mo, girl. Ipalabas mo.
Teka. Kasi pag pinalabas kayo, kakopyright ako ng
One News?
Copyright ako ng One News Ito
Hindi,
yun.
girl. Start mo yung boses, i-speed up mo. I-speed up
Ay, speed up ko yung boses. O, sige.
Tapos malayo, ganyan mo lang siya, tapos speed up mo yung boses.
Sige.
That he is not in hiding. He
Pero
is simply unavailable.
Attorney, would you know at least if he's still in the Philippines?
1.25.
That I really do not know as of the moment. Whether or not he is in the Philippines or already abroad, I cannot say with certainty. But I communicate with his leaders every day. And as a matter of fact, I am now inside the JMC compound, KOJC compound, which was the place of the raid yesterday.
So, Attorney,
can you clarify if there is a search warrant? Kasi
no
yung sinasabi niya ng iba.
Yun na nga po.
There was no search warrant?
Wala pong search warrant. Nung dumating ako, 3:45 AM, nakatulog kasi ako 2:30 kasi po, hindi po ako ng law school, nag-aaral po tayo, marami din tayong kaso. 2:30 na ako nakarating. 3:45 pala sila dito. They arrived here at 3:45 AM and you know, wala pong pasabi.
Sila si Ed Lingaw, Patrick Paes,
Ronald Llamas, and Ami Pamintuan.
Ayan. Thank you, Kuya. Ayan. I think dito na to sa part yung bandang dulo Ayan, ito.
Flee to avoid prosecution. Here, yung Colatilia after being charged kasi, hindi pa kasi
a few seconds before.
Kasi meron pa kami.
Atras mo konti, Joey.
Ito.
If are those persons who after being charged, no?
Atras pa.
That is why there are technical
from the Senate. So I know you're saying that he's not in hiding, that he's not a fugitive, but I don't want to also quibble about terminology because whichever way you cut the cake, you are cutting the cake. In this case, he is wanted by the courts and he's taking the course of going to the legal process. I understand that, but still he's still in hiding.
With due respect, are you a lawyer, po, sir?
No, sir, I'm not.
I know, sir. That is why there are technical definitions when you define a fugitive from justice. There is that leading case of the matter and a fugitive from justice. If there's already a conviction and you hide, that's fugitive from justice. And the second aspect of it is that if are those persons who after being charged, flee to avoid prosecution. Here, yung Colatilia ka din after being charged kasi, hindi pa kasi tapos. Kasi meron pa kaming motion for reconsideration dun sa charge aspect. So therefore, the definition of a fugitive from justice does not attach. A layman would probably classify him as a fugitive from justice. But learned persons of the law would know that if the indictment is still under question, he is not technically yet, at least pursuant to our jurisprudence, a fugitive from justice.
Okay,
Yun
sir.
po ang
So
aking
what do you call
pananaw.
it?
Pwede po ako magkamali po. Pwede po ako magkamali.
Yes, sir. So what do you call this?
Di ba mas madali? Di ba mas madali, attorney, kung magpiansa na lang?
Ay, hindi po. Kasi
Available ba?
ang nga po dito, grabe din po kasi. Sa
Tapos
resolution
usapan,
po
di ba?
na minadali po.
I'm legal learned eh.
Yung preliminary investigation ginawa sa Davao. Sa
Yes.
positive portion po, no, merong human trafficking aspect. No? Human
Yes.
trafficking aspect. Tapos, ang sabi, the Davao City Prosecution's Office is mandated to file information in Pasig. Basically, the Davao City prosecution cannot conduct preliminary investigation for crimes committed in Pasig. So if you have a crime allegedly committed in Pasig, Pasig should conduct the preliminary investigation. Let's leave that as that. The resolution states that for one crime of human trafficking, okay? Nung pumunta na sa Pasig,
Ayun yung, while he was talking, giggle ng giggle yung mga host. Giggle ng giggle yung mga
naging
host.
dalawa. Yung, at naging non-bailable pa. So, tapos hindi lang
Okay.
sa penultimate portion po ng information, meron pang criminal forfeiture order. Ano yan? Yung anti-money laundering aspect, yung denote pa, no? It gave the power on the part of the prosecution to order the seizure of the assets of the accused in this case. Grabe naman, akala ko rape itong
Attorney Torion.
Bakit naman may
Yan,
aspect ng money
kinatop
laundering
ka
po
nila.
dito? Ano bang patay dito? Pati assets ng kingdom, kukunin na.
Okay.
I hope you see my point.
Yes, attorney. We see.
You may be against Pastor Apollo Siquiboloy. Some of you may not like him. I love him very much. I have been his lawyer for quite a time.
Okay.
We're close. But you should also take into consideration that what if this happens to you? A case for rape would be filed against you, and then thereafter the information would state that all your assets, no, in the meantime, because that anti-money laundering law allows the court through a motion to be filed by the prosecution for the issuance of APO. What is that? Asset Protection Order. And i-freeze yung mga assets mo. Naku, mahirap pa naman yung lahat ng mga assets mo. I-freeze in the meantime. Wala naman yun sa ating batas eh.
Okay,
Bakit
attorney.
talaga yun doon eh? Yun nga po ang aming punto dito.
Okay, maraming salamat, Attorney Israelito Torion. Attorney to...
Alam mo, tama siya eh, na bakit ka may asset, bakit mo bibigyan ng power yung ano, bakit mo, ngayon lang ako nakarinig na kaka-charge lang sa'yo at binigyan mo ng power yung prosecutor para i-seize yung asset. Bakit i-seize yung asset? Yung kaso, wala naman nakikita. This is not about the asset. Bibigyan, muna ako, no? Segue lang ako sa dalabaga ito continue. So, pinunta ko ng isa sa mga protocol of officers. Not protocol officers. Protocol officer. Junior, parang ganyan. Hindi naman siya yung chief.
Hindi siya yung pinaka-hepe.
Pinakita niya sa akin yung picture. Ang katabi doon ni Duterte, it is the DFA secretary. Tapos sa likod niya nandun yung parang PSG. So that was like power. Parang nakapila yung parang nagteyate, tapos nakapila yung mga ambassador, tapos isa-isa lang sila nagsika na thank you, ganyan. Wala nang picture taking. So it's just like, okay, thank you.
Wala naman 2 minutes kwento, wala nang gano'n.
Meron lang siguro habang naggaganyan na, wala nang picture taking sa likod ng
Picture mo.
so parang it was very simple and thank you for coming to the party, which is I think it's pero hindi yung katulad nung ganito na napaka sobrang magarbo. Pero ang katabi niya is the DFA secretary, which is actually right because mga ambassador o yung head mo na pinakamataas yung diplomat, no? Ngayon, balik tayo dito kay Pastor Puloy. Tama siya. It doesn't matter if you hate Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. The point is, bakit meron ditong asset seizure? The case is not about the assets of the kingdom. It's not about the assets of kasi this is church asset eh. Right. Whether you like it, kaya meron na ditong talagang separation of church and state. This is the thing. Bakit mo i-seize yung asset ng isang religion? Whether I'm an atheist.
Yeah, because you're not closing down the religion in Pastor Kibuloy's case. You're not shutting down the religion. The crime imputed is not committed by the religion.
By the church.
Is allegedly committed
by the private person. By the private person. Kibuloy. Ngayon, kaya makikita mo na dito, the entire thing isn't really about itong case na ito. This is really about getting the assets of Kibuloy, which actually, pinaghinalaan na nila. Gusto nilang kunin yung assets ni Kibuloy, and that's why they gave the Digong, ikaw na mamupuno ng
administrador.
Which is very, ganun ka, ano, saan ka nakakita na-accuse ng, ano ba to, human
Trafficking.
Human trafficking, rape, murder, and ano, tapos meron ka doon na asset seizure, bakla, it's in the final judgment kung ikaw na-convict ka, magkano ba yung babayaran ng danyos. Kung hindi mo itong nabayaran itong danyos, it would be against pero that is a separate procedure. That is actually a civil case, di ba? Yung asset seizure. You can only do asset forfeiture if you actually accumulated the wealth in a katulad nila Marcos. Katulad nila Marcos. Pero silang
kaya nga sas, if I may, no? Kaya nga yung point ni Atty. Torion, kasi yung order ng prosecutor, inorderan yung AMLAC to produce a asset seizure or asset protection order daw in consonance with their criminal complaint. So yan ang kini-question ngayon nila.
Before they can do that, there has to be there has to be a determination na parang okay, so ibig sabihin itong pera na to is a product of the crime being alleged here, ganon. Dapat ma-establish mo na yung connection nun na hindi mo pa establish kung sino yung may kasalanan, pero dapat establish mo muna na may crime nga na nangyari.
At may pera.
Sinasabi ni Atty. Torion, yung indictment mismo na sinasabi nyo, kung may crime man na nangyari, nandun pa lang tayo sa step na yon. Na there is yung sinasabi nyo na merong krimen na nangyari, ang sinasabi namin, walang krimen na nangyari. So we haven't even established if there is really a crime that happened. Prior to that, I would just like to to emphasize yung, kasi ako I really appreciate yung explanation ni Atty. Torion doon especially when calling someone a fugitive of justice. Kasi yun yung laging sinasabi ng mga galit kay Kibuloy, na si Kibuloy ay pugante na. Okay? And I think itong mga journalist na to, I mean, if you want to make to put Atty. Torion in a tight situation, kasi ganito yan kayong mga mainstream media practitioner, alam naman namin may mga biases kayo, okay? Huwag tayong magplastikan dito. Now, if you want to let's say, I want to put Atty. Torion in a tight situation para mahirapan siya magsasagot, you could have at least prepared and asked intelligent questions. The problem with these three idiots, hindi naman kayo makasabay doon sa explanation ni Atty. Torion. And you throw questions, and when he was explaining, I don't know if you get it, you resort into making him feel like an idiot explaining.
By laughing.
Tawa kayo ng tawa dyan. Yung ina-explain ni Atty. Torion is actually very important. You know, guys, this is something that all of you should remember because this will protect your rights. And that is one explanation of Atty. Torion is very, very important. Okay, when do you become a fugitive of law? Okay? Nasabi ito ni Atty. Torion, okay? You cannot say, technically, legally, Kibuloy is not a fugitive. Okay? Why? Okay? Kasi sinasabi dyan, hindi kasi ine-evade niya yung warrant of arrest Ine-evade niya yung warrant of arrest, so fugitive of justice na siya. What Atty. Torion is saying, his client is unavailable. Okay? He cannot be considered as a fugitive of law. Why? Because meron siyang remedies pending before the court. His presence is acknowledged by the court at this moment. He is actually questioning certain procedures before the court. And Atty. Torion is actually explaining that there had been jurisprudential recognition of this kind of conversation that we are having.
Hindi nga.
Senator Panfilo Lacson is one of that example.
Exactly. Halimbawa si Panfilo Lacson pumunta ng Netherlands, nagtago sa Netherlands. Was he a fugitive of justice during that time? No, he wasn't a fugitive of justice because he wasn't convicted of anything. Di ba nagtago nga siya doon? Alam ko pa kung kanino pa siya nagtago, no? Kaya ko, Senator Lacson, alam ko kanino ka nagtago sa Amsterdam. Anyway, sa Amsterdam ko pa talaga nagtago. Anyway, so, nila ko tumira ko ng Netherlands at mga chismis ko makala. Tinanong ko pa, dito pa nagtago? Anyway, ang puno-dulo kasi nito, itong na nga nire-recommend ko, no? You know, as a journalist, you should know your limitation. Kaya kita mo, di ba, yung mga professional na, yung mas mga nakakaangat na mga, yung mga pang-international na channel. Well, not all of them, no? For example, the issue is science and technology. You have someone with a background in science and technology interviewing a scientist. Dahil kung eme lang yan, bakla na pag-uusapan ninyo. Hindi kayo magkakasama yan. Ngayon, kung ikaw, journalist ka, wala ba kayong mahanap na journalist, lawyer, or lawyer na journalist, or journalist na merong law background na mag-i-interview sa kanya para malaman yung usapan? Hindi naman ako sa nagbubuhat ng bangko, no? But this was... meron namang proof na nagsabi nito, no? When di ba, nung statecraft ko, so I was interviewing ambassadors, no? All of the ambassadors that I interviewed spoke highly of my interview. Para meron pa nga kami noon, yung Polish diplomat, no? Sabi ng Polish diplomat, nagsabi siya, this is the most professional interview that I ever witnessed in the Philippines, na I ever had. Because I know what I'm talking about, no? My background is in international relations. I know their issues. I studied their issues before I spoke, and I treated every one of them fairly, you know, because I was trained in diplomacy. You know? And no, kahit ang kausap ko nun, yung Ukraine, I talked to a high official ng Ukraine. I talked to the Ukraine ambassador to the Philippines na ang naka-base pa sila nun sa Malaysia. And they know my standpoint there. Nagkakainitan pa kami. Pero afterwards, pinuri niya ako na parang pinuri niya ako sa Facebook niya. That's how you do it. Ito, kung hindi mo alam yung pinagsasabi ng guest mo, you have no right to laugh.
Right.
Because you are arguing from the point of view of ignorance. Ngayon, kung ikaw, ignorant ka sa isang bagay, nag-i-interview ka ng mas alam, your approach is to learn. That is how you conduct a proper interview. Test. Okay? Ngayon, ang ginagawa nyo dyan, kaya walang channel, news channel sa Pilipinas ang makaka-penetrate internationally because you are all unprofessional. Do you know in CGTN, here in China, tinatanong ko si Andana, nag-uusap kami, no? Alam mo ba kung gaano kataas ang pinag-aralan ng mga ano? Sabi sa akin ni Andrea, kinakwento niya na ang edge nga lang niya, meron siyang experience. Sabi niya yung kumbaga sa Pilipinas is yung taga-teleprompter. Meron kasing teleprompter guy.
Right.
Graduate ng Ivy League school. Teleprompter manager. Ivy League school, UPenn. UPenn. Wow. Tinanong niya, bakit ka teleprompter manager? Sabi niya, kasi ganun daw talaga. You have to start from the bottom. And that is a UPenn Ivy League graduate. Kayong nag-i-interview dyan sa lawyer na yan, what have you actually finished in school? Ang pinag-aralan nyo is BA Journalism. And BA Journalism only teaches you how to write, how to report, but you are not being taught about content.
Correct.
Being taught about specific disciplines. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, kung ikaw ay journalist, you have to have another specialization. At doon ka mo ipufocus yung journalism because journalism should never even be a course. You know, it should just be an elective. No? Gusto mo na magkaroon ka ng science journalism, you first finish BS Physics and then you take a minor in journalism. And that's it. No? Pero yung ganyan-ganyan ka, bababuyin mo yung isang lawyer na pumasa ng bar, nagtapos ng 2 kurso, no? 4-year course na
and dean ng law school at that, producing lawyers also.
At nagiging top ang may napoproduce na top ang Jose Maria College. May mga napoproduce din ng top. There was even a time na ang number 1 sa bar exam is from the Jose Maria College.
I'm not sure kung nag-top 1, pero they were part ng top 10.
Mataas ang passing rate.
I think 50% passing rate. It's high na. It's very high na.
Mas mataas sila sa 50%. Mataas ang Jose Maria College. Tapos pagtatawanan mong ganyan, you are condescending from the point of view of a man that has a small dick. Ganun lang kasi one. Huwag kang magmamayabang. Itong problema sa Pilipinas, no? And I have encountered this in the Philippines. Can you imagine? You know, all these people, like for example, nung in-interview ako niyan, lalo na yan yung spy, mahilig yan ganyan, in-interview ako nung sa Scarborough show. You know what? yung nag-uusap kami,
yeah, the passing rate of Jose Maria College is 69.64%. Guys, that's very high.
For 100 bar takers below, no?
For 100 bar takers, yeah, well, this is their percentage. They are rank, sa category nila, they are rank 5. Pagkatapos, out of 39 students na kumukuha out of 56 na kumuha ng bar exam sa kanila, 39 passed.
See? Mataas na yun.
So
yeah, it's a very it's up there. It's a reputable school.
Diba, na parang bakit kayo nagtatawa-tawa nito? Pumasaya ng bar, di ng law school. Tapos pagtatawan-tawanan mo na hindi, parang feeling mo mas alam mo pa yung pinagsasabi. Kaya na sobrang you are lawyer. Ganyan kasi no, karamihan ng mga Pilipino na ang yayabang, lalo na yung mga walang ipagmamayabang. Kaya parang and that is what I have been, I have been fighting. Ako mismo, no? Lalo na sa field ko. People who have never ever read a single journal article on international relations, going to lecture me about international relation when I finish magna cum laude.
Right.
Alam mo yun na parang, hindi na sa pipitsugin. And then pag bumukain akong, okay, why are you, parang, alam mo ba yung pinag-uusapan? Diba? Alam mo ba itong mga konseptong ito? Diba? Na parang, yan yung problema, no? They don't have a sense of humility. Ngayon, pag kinausap ko naman nila sa bardagulan, na katulad ng level nila, na yan naman talaga ang kaya ng utak nila. Dahil, hello, how can they even understand, real international relations? No, parang baka dudugo yung ilong mo, sis, di ba? So, tapos nagagalit sila, kausapin mo, bakit ka kakausapin? You never read anything about this field at all. And I know that, and this is the same here. This is the same thing about these people. No, nung nag-interview sa lawyer, very condescending, na wala naman silang alam.
Especially Patrick Paes on the WPS issue. Condescending talaga si Patrick when it comes to
I don't know. Alam mo, mabait na si Patrick Paes. In fairness kay Patrick Paes, I know Patrick Paes personally kasi pinag-guest na.
Oo. Kuya Ibi, sino mga kausap ni Patrick Paes na nag-condescend siya on the WPS?
He had this report filed before the first Atin Ito convoy, during the Christmas convoy. And he had a special report. Basta na-trigger ako doon kasi iba yung sinasabi niya and he was parang sina-sideline lang niya yung
may active daw si Inaros. At sino si Inaros?
Yan yung makulit doon sa nakausap natin yan doon sa sa arbitral ruling, yung ayun.
Ay, naku, Diyos ko lang.
Basta si Inaro, ba't hindi siya yung mag-type dyan? Ayan.
So yun yung nakakaloka, no? Na parang, and alam ba, yung lawyer na yan, mga Pilipino lang yung mahilig ng ganyan. And I only experienced this in the Philippines, for me personally. When I go to other country, my God, I have met people that these people will never ever meet in their entire lives, no? Na once they know my background, okay, and then we're gonna talk at a level na talagang high level, di ba? And that goes in every country that I have been to except the Philippines. That's why the Philippines will never ever develop, because this is a country that does not respect its scholars. If your country does not respect your scholars and highly educated people, you are going nowhere. Do you know why China is very successful? Because in its history, their scholars, highly educated people who've read, who studied, are highly valued in the society. That's why yung Pilipinas, until you change that mindset, no? Napag-bobo ka, mas magaling ka, nag-google ka lang na ganito, feeling mo, ang galing-galing mo na. Tapos journalist ka, nagtatawa-tawa ka ng ganyan sa isang bagay na hindi mo alam. That's a symptom of a country that is in perpetual decline.
But there's also another problem with that, ha? Kasi yung another aspect of that problem, we have a lot of so-called scholars who are actually not very receptive and very generous in sharing their knowledge. Kasi ang tawag dito, ang naging kultura sa Pilipinas, yung mga kunwari, sino ba yung merong platform? Yung mga scholars who are actually boxed in certain ideas and we are obliged to consume it as it is.
Right.
Bibihira rin yung mga scholars na who are really, real scholars. Yun pa yung isa sa problem natin di ba? Dito sa Pilipinas na yung mga supposedly matatalino, hindi naman talaga sila nagpa-perpetuate ng katalino. Yung mga talaga nagpapakalat ng katilinuhan, 'di ba? Dinadaan sa argumentum ad baculum na, "Hoy, ano kami, may degree kami sa economics, so pakinggan mo kami, tama yung sinasabi natin." Diba?
Right.
It's another aspect of our problem.
Even though that you're asking them the right question, no? Hello, Diyos ko, dahil unless na you're dealing with super econometrics, no? Nang hirap-hirap intindihin even the economists themselves. Pero simple economic question about supply and demand and these days, these are questions that you can ask economists. Pero pag sinabi nila na, kita mo si Dr. Batu, you can ask economics questions, no? And then because Dr. Batu is a real educator, no?
Yes. That's what I've been explaining the entire time actually. Sinasabi ko nga sa ano, no, yung ang kailangan ng Pilipinas ay real scholars. Real scholars will break down difficult concepts for idiots like us to understand.
Exactly.
Diba?
Exactly.
If your scholars cannot do that, they are not scholars.
They're not real educators. Because if you cannot explain to a 5-year-old the knowledge that you have acquired in your studies, in your PhD, you haven't
wasted your time. Diba? Sa
You haven't-
anong inaral nila.
you haven't understood it. As simple as that. You cannot explain it to a 5-year-old. Kaya nga, I don't know kung sa Pilipinas, ano yan, no? Kasi sa US, meron yung plain English campaign, no? Na, halimbawa, the contract should be understood by a 14-year-old. May mga ganun sila. So, kailangan hindi ka pwedeng, ganun talaga. I think may law na ganun eh. Sa UK, meron yung, kailangan yung the language should be understood by, I forgot their threshold, no? Parang grade 5 or grade 6. Meron ganun na level ng English. Clear.
Simple language.
Oo. Na parang, kaya nga dapat, ipapaliwanag mo sa kanila kung ano yung kanilang, kailangan ipapaliwanag mo sa kanila kung ano yung ibig sabihin nila. Diba? What actually do you mean? Sabi ni Inaro Stories. Talaga yan, it is true. Inaro.
Before I forget, Joey and Trust, no? I read in one post na between 2021 and 2022 or 2023, China now has overtaken the US and Europe in the number of scientific papers published. So parang 30 or 40% higher yung number of scientific papers na publish ng China during those period. So ibig sabihin nun, yung scholarly pursuit ng China talaga has now overtaken the US, especially on science and technology, no? So hindi nakikita yan eh. Pinagbibidan. Kaya yun ang ano, people will say na ito yung China, ganyan yung China. But when you go to China, you can experience the cutting edge technology na pinaggagawa nila, no?
Ay, Kuyang, I would just like to go back doon sa ano, no, yung mainstream media acting almighty when it comes to information dissemination. 'Di ba for quite some time naging you actually made a comment about this rin. Nakita ko sa quote card ng SMNI eh. Ang ganda nung comment mo doon about the reliability of mainstream media before and now. Ang tawag dito, ang isa kasi sa kinabubwisit ko doon sa interview kay Attorney Torion, yung mainstream media kasi grabe yung audacity to proclaim themselves as, hindi, kami dapat ang may say sa information dissemination kasi we are trained for this. Di ba may mga ganun?
The rightful bearer of truth daw.
Oo. Di ba, they brag about the fact that they are bound by journalistic standards, na meron silang mga kumbaga merong skill level that is required for them before they call themselves journalists and whatnot. Magagaling magsulat siya, magagaling sa mga grammar, etc. So, and di ba, they demean vloggers in fact na parang, hindi naman, hindi kayo covered ng ethical standard eh. Wala kayong journalistic standard.
Yeah, there was even one journalist, yung yung parang medyo matanda na he said na vlogging is cheap. Sino ba yun? Yung isang yung parang professor yun ng journalism ata yun.
Really anyway, may mga ganong conversation. Right. And then you see people like, people here in Storycon, except dun sa babae, na who are, is that even ethical? So, anong nangyari doon sa ethical standard natin dito, di ba? That you are very, very condescending and trying to to look the speaker as if he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a law school dean, for goodness sake. Come on. If you do not agree with him, and in fact, to be fair in fact, napaka-fair ni Attorney Torion kasi sinabi niya na, I can understand that for layman, you will think that he is a fugitive. So, kumbaga, in-acknowledge niya yung fact na yun. No, you cannot call him a fugitive. Hindi siya nagagaganon. In fact, sabi niya na, I can understand na for layman, iisipin ninyo, fugitive na siya kasi may warrant of arrest siya, pagkatapos tinatry i-enforce, tapos wala siya, hindi siya makita. Ako, hindi ko rin siya makita. So you would think na nagtatago siya. Okay? But technically, hindi siya nagtatago kasi meron siya mga remedies, meron siya mga motions pending in court. Ibig sabihin yung court, nakikita siya. Tayo, hindi natin siya nakikita, pero yung court, nakikita siya. So,
through his attorney.
Diba? And so, for this guys, no, na parang to do something, I think, my God, mainstream media, if you are so audacious in saying that you are fair, that you are in the middle, at least pretend that you are.
Well,
alam naman namin kung anong biases nyo eh.
The following day, I watched Karen Davila's Head Start. He interviewed Llamas again because of that interview. Towards the end of the interview, they were discussing what you posted, Joey. Yung statement ni Tariela about about KOGC na pilit na kinokonekta ni Tariela yung
parang
tapos nag-second demotion si si Llamas.
Alam mo, kaya mag-second demotion si Llamas. Llamas is with Akbayan. Akbayan doesn't have any issues anymore, no? Di ba kinabitan nila yung LGBT, palpak naman sila sa LGBT issue. Di ba? Wala na sila magsasaka or whatever. So, kailangan nila ng issue na ma-elect sila. Ang issue nila nga nila, yung WPS, no? Kasi they are hungry for power. Wala silang pera. Walang pera ang Akbayan. Walang pera. Siguro, binibigyan sila ng pera ni Risa, but Risa is no longer part of Akbayan. But mawawala na rin si Risa, di ba, sa Senado. So, mawawalan sila ng pera, ng kanilang pang-happy-happy, ng kanilang pang-MM na kunwari na sila. So, kailangan nila ng funding. Kailangan din ng mabalik sa Kongreso. And ang way nila...
Naubos na yung Project Museo funding eh. Yung $5 million.
Ang kailangan nila, di ba, ang kailangan nila is, kailangan nilang magkaroon ng panibagong source of MOOE. Ganun na naman kasi, tigilan niyo ako, Akbay. Tigilan niyo ako. Alam namin mga ganyang kalakaran sa buhay, no? Tanong mo si Ibi, Diyos ko dahil, dumami na ang puting buhok nito. Hindi nyo kami puting mga magnanakaw kayong lahat. Kayong MOE, no? So ito nga, talaga, sasalsalin talaga nila yung balita. Kaya nga nakakaloka nga, nabuti na lang, merong Amerikanong sinampal-sampal na ang mga Pilipino.
Alam mo, Sas, Joey?
Alam mo sa atin?
Yung live interview sa Schiller Institute, nakinig ako yung buo. Nakatulog ako, ang haba-haba. Hindi ko napansin na towards the end na pala, yung nagtanong yung from RMN News from Mindanao. Yes. So nakatulog ako, hindi ko napansin kasi nag-cue na yung next video, hindi ko na napansin pag
diba? Yung pinost ko para buo.
Yes.
Sige.
Yung pinost ko para buo. Kaya yun ang nila. That is as simple as that. You know what? You wasted six years, no? Do you know how long it took for China to build the high-speed railway in Laos or in Indonesia?
Right.
Philippines in 1986, I was.
Diba? Na parang you're wasting a lot of time with all this drama. This will not, mamamatay na kayong lahat, hindi nyo man lang nakikita ang Pilipinas na nagkaroon ng space station or makapag-host ng Olympics. Kasi yan ang isa sa mga dinidream mo dapat, no? Makapag-host ka ng Olympics. Lalo na ang ganda-ganda ng Pilipinas to host the Olympics, di ba?
Right.
It's an ideal location dahil ang laki, ang beautiful, and etc. But you'll never achieve that because you just love drama. Di ba?
True.